in this lesson, we'll take a look at the storyboards we'll be basing our animation from, and we'll also begin posing out our major poses. So let's first take a look at these storyboards, and I do want to mention that you should get into the habit of doing them if you don't, because it gives your scene direction, so you know exactly what you're trying to achieve, and thus saving time that way. So again, let's go ahead and take a look at our storyboard panels. Here we see the first. So basically the premise of this, the Watchman character is acting as if he's hard at work driving the vehicle, when in actuality he's being a little lethargic. So by the next panel he's caught. Okay, he looks at the camera, he sees that we do see that he's not really working, but of course he's still trying to play it off. We want to get his personality in there, so he leans into the window of the cardboard cutout, and of course it can't support his weight. So what happens next? Well, it starts to fall. So he's trying frantically to grab the cutout, but he misses and slams right on the floor. So by the next, he's really scared, doesn't know what to do. He's looking at the mess he made. He's also looking at the camera. If you look at the right image, okay, looking right back at us, the uh-oh type of look. Then he tries to just play it off. He's pulling up his belt, fixing that, and then that's when he sees his moment to exit the scene. So that's when he quickly runs out. And if you also notice, his hat is left behind. What we're going to be doing for the last sequence is having his hand come right in for a cartoon take to grab the hat and exit. So based off of these storyboards, let's go ahead and now begin building our animation. We can start by adjusting him so that he has a more of a side view profile, and we can do that by using his global move control. So if we go to our perspective and outliner view and select the character node, okay, if we open that up, we can get to his character move. So once we find the character move, let's go ahead and rotate him negative 90 degrees in the Y. Okay. And we can even type that in. We'll also move him a little bit closer to the cutout, about 25 in the translate Z. Alright, okay, so now that we have this posed out, we can go ahead and work on posing out the remainder of him. And I do want to note that the keys and the flashlight, I'm just going to leave them hidden for this project. We won't be focusing on them at all, because we're really just understanding character performance. We do have a few props in here that will help us to make this even stronger. But again, we won't be using that, but you can. I've just hidden the group so you can always access them again underneath the character move, character scale. Open that up. If we get to the control objects, you can get right to the flashlight and the key ring. Okay, but getting right back to it, you can select the center of gravity, move that down a little bit as if he's inside the vehicle. Move that or rotate him forward. So I'll move him back a little bit there. Rotate him forward with the center of gravity as well as with his chest control, just in the X. Can move his head up. For the eyes, let's go ahead and select those and bring those to the side and out. I'm using the world parent for the eyes, so we could have them target on certain areas as the eyes do move. For the eyebrows, let's go ahead and select the eyebrow controls and just have him squint his eyes a little bit here. Remember, he's being a little bit lazy. For the knee controls, we'll have those swing out. And something important to keep in mind about the knees and the legs is that since we won't really see them, there's not going to be any need to animate them until they're supposed to be seen. So that's going to save us time, and we should look for areas where we can save time. Should work as quickly and as accurately as we can. Okay, so now we can go ahead and move the next arm forward and rotate that. Rotate the hand out. Take the elbow, move that down. And for the shoulder. If you also notice, the arm is segmented too. But we do have layers to switch between our high res and low res. Okay. Now for the fingers, we can go ahead and curl in the fingers for the right hand. I'm just selecting the last 3 for each section, each category. So index all the way to pinky, and we'll worry about the thumb afterwards. But let's just go ahead and curl those in. Don't worry too much about intersecting these end fingers. Okay, we don't want too much intersecting, but if it's not going to be noticeable, especially with the hand moving, okay, we're going to have the hand move. It's not going to stay stagnant. So because of that, we shouldn't be too worried about intersecting. Okay, but we don't want it too much where we'd get in a video game, for example. For the thumb now, we can adjust that. Go to its Z attribute. Basically, the way these attributes work is the A all the way through C. That basically is the root down. Okay, so we could start rolling in the fingers here. Adjusting that. Adjusting the X. There we are. Okay, and then we can even work on bringing in this left hand. And we'll rotate that out. Bring down the elbow. Bring forward the shoulders. Okay, so exaggerating the pose a little bit. Going to his fingers and doing the same, just selecting the last 3 for each category. Okay, before we get to the thumb, curling those in. Okay, then we can go now to the thumb. Work on adjusting that. Curl that down. Okay, so once we have this general pose blocked in, what we'll now go ahead and do is look at this through our shot camera. We're ready to now reposition our shot camera. So we'll go to our panels, save layouts, go down to perspective shot, and let's go to move in the shot camera. So it's zoomed into this window here. Later on we will be animating it as if the character is driving in. Okay, but that'll be again later on. Alright, so we have a pretty nice pose here. Okay, we could even take this right arm maybe and move it a little bit more forward. Okay, alright, so now that we have this pose in place, and if you'd like to use a reference point to determine where the camera is, you could always use the edge of the cardboard layout. But yes, that is it for this first pose, and what we'll do is stop the lesson here and continue working on blocking our extremes in the next lesson.